Hello there everybody and welcome to the AOR PC Touring Car Elite League on Project Cast 2. I'm Fisi and I will be taking you through the action here today along with another commentator, which I can't quite introduce yet because he's currently down with the drivers to organize the grid for the first race. But he shall be here shortly. So in the meantime I will point out the fact that, oh, he's back actually, as by the way, King-Kodiak, I have started the stream, so now you can say hello to everyone!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. Yes, I'm in the box once again and for the finale at a very, very rain-soaked Nürburgring. I am just popping up to say hello, and I'm literally jumping back down again because I am going to be helping out sort the grid order for the for both rounds, indeed. But for now, I shall just hop down, sort the grid order out, and then I should be right back.
Good stuff. And good luck, I guess. So, oh, let's quickly skip to the race. It's actually a back screen right now. That's not meant to happen. Let's hope it gives me an actual screen. There we go. And the lights are actually out, but as per usual in this league, we will be doing a manual rolling start. And of course, the grid organized manually as well, because we are doing the formation based on the championship order. So, every driver will be starting for this first race in the order that are currently in the championship. Is why TM Touring is leading the way. He's a championship leader by only 6 points ahead of Stanley. We'll look a bit more closely at the championship standings in just a moment. But as we're going to bring up the graphic just to point out the overall structure for tonight, the sprint race is what we're going to be starting here in just a second. 20-minute race in the rain, as you saw quite early in the morning as well, here at the Nürburgring. Short layout. And then after this race, there shall be a second race, a longer race of 40 minutes in some dry, hazy weather slightly later in the morning as well. So, 2 races to determine the championship standings, and as we can see here on the championship standings, it is very close indeed. I mean, it's 48 points total on offer. That's what you get if you win both races tonight. 24 for a win in one of the races. And yeah, very close indeed. TM Touring leading by 6 points over Zenny. Only 5 further points down to Andrex. 6 further points down to the Hunter. 2 further points down to the Desert Backs. I mean, all of the top 5 and top 6 even, with Scott hanging in there, Rick hanging in there, Shaggy, Dan, and Alexis. I mean, if everything goes badly for the guys at the front, even Alexis down in 9th, I would say, has a very outside chance to win the championship. So it's all to play for the guys in at the top of the championship, but I'm sure some of the guys lower down in the championship as well will want to impress here on the final night of the Touring Car League before, of course, the main AOR Project Cast 2 League kicks off next week with the GT3 cars once again. So let's focus back on the track. Nice rhyme there, me. Well done. Yeah, so still just waiting for the drivers to get into the corrector. It looks like the final 2 cars have pulled off the grid now. They already saw the top 10 in the championship. That will also be the top 10 on the grid for this first race, but then for the second race there will be a reverse grid based on the results from this first one. Oh, hello there. Yeah, it looks like you have sorted the grid pretty well, I must say.
Yeah, we kind of ran through the grid, so everybody had a rough idea of where they were beforehand, but of course I'm reading the championship order and there's 30 odd names there and only 21 cars on track, so people had to kind of plan roughly where they were. So I had a quick rundown of where everybody was, and for our benefit we'll just quickly run through it. So Touring 1, Zenny 2, Andrex 3, Odan, as he's referred back to his original name, in 4th with 2 Desert Pack, 5th, and because of that weather you can barely see through it. Scott in 6th with Rick 7, Shaggy Dan 8, and Alexis 9, and Noah rounds out the top 10.
Indeed. And then if you go further down, might need some help from you there. So yeah, Goski will be in 11th place ahead of a Master who has had some good sparks in this league but has fallen down the championship a little bit last time out. Oblitor as well, another that could surprise us, in 13th place ahead of Lindholt. Then Marauder will be starting 15th ahead of Mr. Van Ommen, of course. Has only done a few races this season, but he can be very fast indeed. As now they seem to be speeding up. I don't think we're already on the main straight now.
I was just double checking that myself.
Yeah.
We're getting underway any second.
So yeah, we can, you know, there are 21 cars on the grid at the moment, but we are on the way. The cars out in front have pulled off. TM Touring leading the field of touring cars, mainly Renault Megans, but a few other cars mixed in there. So you can see Andrix in the BMW down in fourth now. He's actually jumped off the start by Hunter, who is now trying to outbrake his teammates on the outside into the first corner, leaving room for Zenny on the inside. But it looks like, wow, it looks like Hunter has gained 2 positions off the start. Fantastic stuff from him. And that is what he needs if he wants to have a chance at the championship, being 70 points behind Touring, who stays in the lead off the start. Looked to be pretty clean to me, and that is good to see. Okay.
Yeah, not seeing any major gaps so far. A fair bit of door banging, but really not surprising. Look how wet this is, and that seemed to, it certainly favoured the BMWs last time around. But yeah, Odan or the Hunter had a cracking start to get this race underway, and already, look at that, he's already trying to break away from Zenny. Touring is really stretching his legs, so he's already built up a second's lead at the front there. But yeah, all eyes, I say all eyes are absolutely everywhere, and typical touring car form, the field is pretty heavily condensed, but we would hope that with these conditions that people would try their best to kind of stay well behaved as Andrix takes a move for trying to get third position as they are coming up to the Vidal chicane, and he's got him. Well played there. He's overtaken Zenny for that third spot.
I think Scott was even trying to get Zenny as well at the same time, and he is indeed on the inside into the final corner. Zenny though trying to break it, but he's got a bit deep. So with still side by side, will Scott leave him room? Yes, he will. So they're going to still run side by side for fourth position here. Down the main straight, Scott, another man who is very, very fast, of course. 5th place in the championship, again 2nd place in the championship as it stands going into this race. Scott with the advantage of having that inside line, but Zenny breaking a little bit later, stuck. Scott hanging on in there as well, and a bit deep for Zenny, so Scott's going to take that position, and Zenny's actually going to drop behind to Desertpack as well. So, no, actually, to Desertpack is the man sitting 5th in the championship, I think, but Scott is also quite close, so all of these guys... yeah, just jostling for position and needing every single point they can possibly get in this race.
Absolutely, that was a very opportunistic move by Desertpack, and that's paid off very nicely for him as he's now gone up to 5th. It's not gone well for Zenny. So, fair way to go, of course. This is the sprint race. 13.5 minutes, or just under, is how much longer this race has to run. So it's not all done and dusted if they have a bad run in this particular race. Let me look further back. There's Shaggy Dan, resident Canadian, who has climbed a position as well. He's now on the tails of Zenny, and look at that. He's looking to try and put a move on as they've come out of the pit curve and right under the rear wing. Look at that. He's nearly pushing him through the Prince Morgan. Can he do anything in the Vidal chicane? Nearly pushing him along. Is he going to try and outbrake on the inside of the first part of the Vidal chicane? He's made the move, and he's made Zenny go too deep. And that's another position for Shaggy Dan. Oh, goodness me, Zenny is really falling down the field. He's now down in 9-3 positions he's just lost.
Wow, Zenny is really struggling. 2nd place in the championship. The championship challenge is falling away from him at the moment. He was very impressive last week to get so close to Touring in the championship after Touring had that issue, a technical issue in the first race that made him score 0 points there. But Zenny is having a disaster start to this particular race, and Andrix is challenging now against Hunter for 2nd position as well. Last time it was a wet race 2 weeks ago at Holton Park. Andrix was flying in that BMW rear wheel drive against all the front wheel drive Megans, and he's seems to be flying here as well, but he is struggling to get past Hunter, but is actually staying in there on the outside, coming out of the stadium infield section. And what a move that is for Andrix. Can he keep it though? I think he has the advantage going into the next corner. It is a left-hander, and yeah, there we go, Hunter. Oh, nice, actually. Never mind. It's usually a left-hander, but in this layout, of course, the short layout is actually a right-hander.
Yeah, you went into full Nürburgring mode there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Andrix now back up into 2nd spot now. What a stunning move then on Odan. A bit of a slow start, and has now really started to get into the groove. And that's Scott in the background as well. He's looking to keep the pressure on Odan. There's Desertpack not too far behind. And Master seems to have fallen a bit off the back of Oblator. He's under pressure by Adalexis. Look at that stream of cars. Rick's had a problem. He has fallen through the field. He's now down in last. He's about 4 seconds just under off the back. Can't see any obvious damage there, but I think he's just gone off somewhere, which is so easy to do. But look at that! And that's Scott having a look at the inside of Odon in the final turn. He's going to try and force the black and green Renault wide. He doesn't manage to do it. Odon just about manages to get the traction when he needs it.
And Andre's going for the lead at the same time, just ahead of those guys as well. Look at the drive. Andre's got out of the final corner on the inside. Third place in the championship, trying to outbreak the championship leader. But Turing, he's squeezing him a little bit towards the apex. I think he's left just about enough room. Andre's hanging on in there, but again, he's going to be on the outside for this corner. Last time he managed to make it work, but Turing is fighting hard for that championship. And let's see who's going to emerge on top. Scott and Hunter just following through, and Andrex going for the undercut this time, actually. Coming through the left-hander. Will he try the same on the right-hander to get a better exit? Yes, he will indeed, as Scott is basically pushing Hunter around that corner as well. This is so close, the top 3 in the race. Top 4 even, I should say. We're on board, of course, with P4 at the moment. Andrex still trying to challenge around the outside, but cannot make it work at the moment.
That BMW is absolutely determined to fight his way fast. Turing is doing the defensive drive of his life. Now
look at this!
Outside move into the first part, into the Kuma curve. Now the inside for the bit curve, and that's thrown Turing straight into the hands of Hunter. And that's going to give Andrex a great opportunity to try and at least make the next couple of turns uncontested. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it. Can he get the drive when he needs it? Looks like Firefly has got himself a penalty, and Turing, have a look at the inside. The first part of the Vito chicane does not come off, as Andrex just gets enough traction when he needs it to defend the lead. And there, look at that side by side. That's Scott and Hunter once again. The blue and yellow car trying to do something against the green and black one, doesn't quite do it. But now we have a change of lead as we come over the line to finish lap 5.
So Andrex has just found something in that rear-wheel drive BMW that makes him some kind of rain god in this league. He dominated the second race at Alton Park from far back as well. Oh, look at that, the potential dive from Turing, but his run deep is going to put him under pressure for second place even, and it is Hunter going through into second. Turing, nearly went to the inside of the next corner, but I think he's lost out on that one. A little bit ambitious diving attempt. Oh no, and it's touching Hunter as well. Scott manages to see it coming and doesn't touch the back of him. But yeah, Turing is struggling a little bit at this stage of the race, which is surprising considering how fast he was last week.
He's overdriving the car. He's pushing too hard to try and make up the gap, and he's actually forcing him into mistakes. He overcooked the braking point into the first turn. That's what sent him too deep. And look at the gap that Andrex has got from us. That's nearly 1.5 seconds already, and that's just half a lap. So it's not like Hunter is a slow driver. I think he's rather proven that even in this series. He's proven it many times in other series as well. But Turing then he's just got to settle himself down. He knows the championship is at stake, but all of these guys are fighting for it. So one mistake could be exceedingly costly.
Absolutely. I mean, Turing has the advantage in the championship, of course, coming into this round. But he can definitely not rest with only a 6-point lead. But there we go, he goes back up the inside, trying to anyway. Hunter, and look at Scott, what a read from him to go underneath both of them out of the chicane. Fantastic. Just use his brain there to get that move done, basically. Saw it coming that it would be slow off the corner going side by side. Scott straight up into second place.
What a move by the blue and yellow car of Scott. He saw that exactly as you say, Fizzy. Hunter and Turing tangled up again. Turing's pushing too hard. He's just got to find that groove and get that pace. I mean, it may just be he's not very comfortable in the wet, and I can perfectly understand that. Scott having to defend against Hunter as they come through into the Mercedes arena once again, and Hunter getting the inside line for turn 2, and that could possibly give Turing a run as well if we get on the roof of Turing. No, not quite. Actually, that's a better camera to use.
It's 3 wide.
Oh, that could be dangerous. Scott's actually backed out of that. No, I'm going to stick with that camera. That was a little bit better, actually. Scott, we've just lost him out of the side of the shot. It looks like, could they be, and they're not going to try 3 wide. No, Scott's actually fallen back behind Hunter then, but that's not going to give Scott an inside on the pair of them. Oh my goodness me, and there may have been a bit of a shove there by the blue and yellow car, and that's brought 2 Desert Pack right in there as well. Turing's got a lot of work to do to try and hang on to the position he's in, and 2 Desert Pack then trying to get on the inside, doesn't quite get it done against Turing, but that is 4.6 is now the lead that Andrex has for himself in the BMW.
Yeah, Andrex has essentially won the race as a result of this insane battling that is going on here for second place. 4 random Megans as Touring again going for the same move as he attempted last lap. It didn't really work because then they both got mugged by Scott. This time again, they might be mugged by Tudesipak in exactly the same way. They're going to run 3 wide now into the final corner. Here, it's not a long run. Who's going to be latest of the breakers? Tudesipak back in too early. Hunter getting the advantage out of there. Tudesipak still getting a decent exit, it seems. And so does Touring. So this battle is not over yet, but Scott, who... You're right, he did make a little bit of contact, I think, with Hunter or Touring, I can't remember which, when he made that move for second place, so he was a little bit naughty maybe. But yeah, he is well getting an advantage now because of this guy's continuing the battle. Tudesipak trying to cut underneath, whereas Hunter he must have just outbraked himself.
Yeah, he did. He locked up coming into turn 1, trying to defend from Touring. But yeah, Tudesipak, that was brilliantly read by him coming through the VDOT chicane last time. He could see what was going to happen exactly the same as Scott did last time, and he then read it brilliantly well so that he didn't get tangled up in it. Touring now down, Touring up to 3rd then. That's Hunter down to 5th, but I don't think it's going to be long before he starts to get himself back involved in that particular battle then. Half a second between, well, Tudesipak is half a second between the pair of them, half a second in front to Touring near enough. Hunter's just brought that one down. He's a little bit deep into the Kumo curve. He's held on to that one. Now 5.5 seconds for this man, Andrex. He's not defending against anybody, and he is gone. And with all that going on, there's less than 4.5 minutes left. So it's only going to be 3 or so laps for Andrex to hang on for in this particular race. But wow, that's really going to turn the championship completely upside down if Touring can't climb back up the order.
Yeah, Touring is still going to hang on to the lead of the championship. Of course, his main rival going into this, Zenny, is continuing his struggles in this race, down to 14th at the moment, so he's going to not pick up too many points. He might be out of it, really. But Andrex was 3rd in the championship. He's going to close the gap from 11 points down to 5 as he stands, I think, going into the final round, or actually down to 6, I think. So, yeah, Touring is living dangerously here, as the Hunter is still trying to fight back now on to Tudesipak. And again, braking very late indeed. Will he actually make the apex this time? Yes, he will. Tudesipak actually braking too early there, it would seem. And Hunter swooping around the outside to go back up to P4. Hunter had a 17-point gap up to Touring before this race, so he kind of would have needed a little bit more to bring him properly into contention into the final round coming up. But yeah, as it stands, really, it is between Touring and Andrex into the final one.
Touring is then 1.6 down from Scott. He would prefer to have been obviously in his original starting spot, but it would seem the rain has not done him any favours. And look at that battle between Tudesipak and Hunter continues there in the background. That's Van Ommen, considering he started nearly last. He in the BMW as well as now for 6th place. What a stunner effort then for Mr. Van Ommen. We saw him quite perform rather well in the GT3 Season 9 Elite League, so we know how good he is. And he's managed to get ahead of Shaggy down. The field has relatively spread out. That's Firefly. He actually started last, so he's done well to get up to 11th.
Yeah, fantastic stuff for him. I think it was side-by-side behind him, actually. It was that Marauder and Matster, I think, was going actually side-by-side into the chicane here with only 2.5 minutes remaining in the race. So let's see who will win that battle for 12th. Marauder braking later and actually making the apex as well, so he's going to get that done in the Opel of all costs. I think he might be the only Opel in the field here.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think that is a very nice looking car, even if it's not the preferred option among most of these drivers. But yeah, Marauder's going to hang on to that 12th place at the moment. Let's see, Touring still in 3rd, still keeps hold of the championship lead as it stands. Andrex will pick up 24 points for winning this race. He's got a 6.5 second lead down to Scott, but then Touring will be picking up 19 from holding on to the podium position if he can stay there. So that, as I said before, will bring the gap down to 6 points between the two. Then, of course, what is interesting with the format that we have in this league, with the second race being done, you know, the grid order based on reverse positions from this race. So both Andrex and Touring will be driving from the back of the pack in race number 2, and that means anything could happen.
Andrex was in that last lap alone, he was 1.1 seconds quicker than Scott. The only man in the 140s. It was 140.4 that Andrex managed in that BMW. Scott, second in the Renault, 141.5 last time around. Touring is a second behind, 141.6. It's an impressive pace, but in these conditions, Andrex is on another level. Look at that. That's Van Orman in the next BMW down the road. He is beginning to really close in. That's two desert back. Oh, that's getting very close. No sooner do I say that he outraced himself a little bit into the Vidal chicane as Andrex comes across the line to begin the final lap with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and look at that. I mean, you can see, you could just see some cars in the background, or at least some headlights. But a huge gap to Andrex. 8 seconds now is ridiculous the pace. Andrex is running the only man in the 40s on a lap time. So a fantastic shot from him in the rain here. Touring is actually quite close to Scott still. So maybe with a fantastic final lap, he could potentially challenge for second place, which would mean the championship gap only sinks to 8 rather than 6. I'm sure he would have liked that. But he needs a very good lap because Scott is such a fast driver. Scott was potentially the fastest driver actually last week at Hockenheim, but he had some problems that meant he didn't get the optimal result that it maybe deserved back then. But now he is in a solid position, P2 here in the race. But look at the way Touring is closing through this middle sector. He wants all the points he can get as well.
Whoa! Van Orman outside move through big curve. I think that was. That was outside move through the cut through before they get to Kuma. What a move by Van Orman to take 5th.
Good stuff for you to be awake to what was going on in the background there, because I didn't actually see that. But yeah, fantastic. Van Orman into the top 5 from quite far down the order. And here we go. Touring.
Scott went into the Vidal. Wow, he committed the inside line very early. He was not risking anything. But Andrex on the final turn. Yeah, find some traction. I think he's just teasing us. He knows damn well how far ahead. He's not even gotten out of gear. He's flashing his lights.
Yeah.
Make sure you get across the line. Scott's got no such luxury as Andrex has indeed finished the line. That's going to be close. And Scott has just hung on to that second position.
Side by side for 4th as well. Hunter and Orman. I think Hunter's just going to get P4 ahead of an Orman in P5, then to Dassapak dropping to P6 in the end after being part of that huge scrap. Shaggy Dan in 7th, and Alexis just about coming across in 8th there, I think, ahead of Oblitor. Marauder in the final top 10 position. Matster then in 11th after starting 12th. He was briefly up to 9th or 8th or something, so he's dropped a bit down there at the end of the race. And then you can see the rest there. Noah, who won the second race last week, actually, starting from towards the front, he will finish this one in 12th. And here we have the confirmed result with 1 race remaining in the championship, which will be starting very shortly with a reverse grid.
It will indeed. So I'm just making a note of these particular finishing order as I am going to hop down and read out the start then for these guys. So I shall be back once the grid has been reformed.
Good luck to you on that one. And yep, so King-Kodiak then. Just going to help the grid getting formed for the second race. Of course, we're going back to the lobby briefly in the meantime. But yeah, what a race that was. That was fantastic stuff. Andrex is really enjoying that wet, as Nick Mira is pointing out in the chat. Yeah, that is for sure. I mean, you would think really that the wet doesn't suit the rear-wheel drive cars, because shouldn't that in theory be easy to spin? But it doesn't seem like it. There is some kind of crazy wet pace in that BMW that Andrex is able to extract. And Van Orman as well, the other BMW driver on the grid today, having a fantastic race also. But of course the second race now is going to be dry, so that dynamic could all change now. And Andrex, as mentioned before, will be starting right at the back of the pack now, with the reverse grid. And Team Touring, of course, from finishing 3rd, he will be starting only 2 positions ahead of him as well. Both of them will have to fight their way through the field. An interesting thing, actually, obviously, Zenny went into that first race being 6 points off Touring. He didn't pick up a lot of points in the race that just finished, because he was like down to 15th or something when I last looked at him. But of course, he will be starting in a good position then in their second race. So if Touring and Andrex both run into huge troubles, then you never know. Zenny could still pull something out of the bag. Maybe, but he needs a lot of luck, I think. Obviously, you don't expect Touring and Andrex to finish far down, even if they're starting down there at the back. But of course, there's more risk involved when you have to work your way through the field, and you have to go through a lot of battles to get up to the good positions. And that is what Andrex and Touring will have to do, preferably for them, without getting any damage on the way. So, hello to everyone in the chat. Hope you enjoyed that first race. You can see Brownski, our good old GT3 Season 1 champion, Nick Mito as well, another experienced AOR racer. Shout out to Hubrian Sung, ADAs, One Man Crime Wave, hashtag AOR Hype, that's an interesting username. But fair play, I like the hashtag. And I'm sure there's a few other people watching as well, so don't go anywhere. Actually, you can go and get some drinks, some candy, some beers, or whatever you prefer, and just settle yourself down. Find your comfort spot for the second race that is about to unfold here. The final one of the season that will decide the championship. Will it be Touring, or will it be Andrex, or will it be someone else out of nowhere? We will have to wait and see.
Hello.
And KK's back.
A few drivers just having a quick toilet break, and they're also going to do a 5-minute session beforehand.
Okay.
To make sure everybody's in, etc., etc. Possible reason why Zenny fell through the order: one, he said he's not so good in the wet, but two, he lost all game sound.
Ah,
that won't help.
That will definitely not help. So, I've been asked by the friendly chat to get a calculator and calculate the gaps going into the final race. So I think I've worked out the top two, obviously, with Andrex had 83 points. He won that particular race, which gives him another 24, so that takes him up to 107 points. Touring finished third. He goes from 94, and then with 19 up to 200. What am I saying? 113. 203. Let's give him another 100. Why not? 113. So that's 6 points between Touring and Andrex, and that is the main guys you have to keep an eye out on from the back. Looking best in terms of points now, going into the final race. Hunter finished fourth in the end?
Yes, he did.
Which means 17 points, so he's going to be on 94 at the moment.
It's very close. Quite a few people still in the hunt.
Yep.
And anything can happen with the reverse grid that we have coming up.
Indeed, let's see. So, yeah, Tedespac finished sixth. 75 plus 15 is
90.
90. Ooh, that's very close to being out of it. That's 1 point away from being out of the running. Obviously, 23 points behind. You need to be within 24 to have a chance, of course, with that being the maximum you can get for a win in this race. And then you hope, of course, to be very lucky as well, with the other guys basically scoring nothing. So Tedespac, yeah, Tedespac, if everyone else crashes and Tedespac wins, you know, he can still do it.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah. So Zenny, can you really tell me where he finished? Like 15th or something?
Zenny finished in 17th. Now there's a slight thing with the results, as Firefly earned himself a 30-second penalty, which is a 30-second penalty is almost always going to be appealed and removed. So he's technically finished in 14th, but he was demoted because of that penalty. So which would have pushed Zenny to 17th.
Right. So in that case, there's only 4 points for him, from 88 points up to 92. So similar to the Tedespac, yeah, he's essentially out of it. That's 21 points, isn't it, of Touring. Of course, Zenny will be starting in a good position now from finishing far down.
Zenny will be starting 5th, I think.
Yeah. So you know, in that sense, he's in a good position for this final race, but he is yeah, I mean, he basically needs everyone else to have troubles ahead of him to get up there, as we are in a rainy session again. I don't think that's meant to happen.
This is just pre-practice, so they're just going to play a bit of bump cars.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think Wouldn't you think that they would be put in the same weather as in the main race?
I suspect this was a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like it.
So yeah, so the order is going to be Baratis, Mike Self, Lindholt, Zenny. So Zenny will actually start fourth. Rick, Firefly. No, sorry, Rick, Ironic, Firefly, Gosku, Noah, Matster, Marauder, Obrator, Adalexis, Shaggy Dan, Tutors Pack, Van Omen, Hunter, Turing, Scott, and Andrex.
Alrighty. Thanks to Baranski, by the way, for putting these sort of championship stipulations in the chat between Turing and Andrex, barring that they both don't run into trouble and someone else sneaks in there and grabs it. But of course, those being the main guys we need to keep an eye on.
Thank you, Bransky. I'm always hopeless at figuring those things. I sort of sit there and like, if he does that, then what about? I just sit there and stare at numbers and just go full derp. I can never figure these things out.
That's why it's good to have Mr. Bransky in the chat. So I'm not quite sure why we have. You know, you never know. It could just be that they've changed the weather just for the race part and not the...
I can confirm that. Wow, was someone going for a wander in the background?
Oh, someone's gone backwards there.
Yeah, I can confirm they haven't changed the race. It is hazy. I think it's a hazy day. No, that is correct. That is what has been set.
Okay, that is good then. So somehow people decided that they wanted to make it rain in the pre-race session. But
indeed, which not everybody. I'm trying to figure out. We've got 21 in server. We did lose someone in that, and I'm trying to work out who. Who's that? Oh, that's Hunter facing the wrong way, and our winner of the last race with a very rearranged car. And well, why not?
Doing his victory donuts already, or damaged donuts.
Well, being that it's still raining, it's
look at that backwards donuts from Hunter. Look at that. That's what you can do in a front-wheel drive car.
Who did we lose from? I was still looking through the order and figuring out who it was we lost. It'll come to me in a minute. Oblator?
No, Oblator's there.
No, he was 9th last time. Bang! That's,
But we only have 20 finishers, I think, in the first race.
It was Vincator.
Ah.
Yeah, we lost Vincator then last time around.
Right.
So he will be starting last. So he is the only non-finisher from the last race. Oh, come on, guys. You can do better.
How was Hunter not hit the wall yet?
See,
oh, he's getting closer. He's getting closer to the wall. No, I'm scared for him. He's gonna... No, don't do it. 2 more rounds and he's in the wall. But, yeah. This is not the race, but... Oh, there he goes. Yeah.
Dying. Right. So, yeah. So this session is going to tick over to the race session. They will have the obligatory 2 minutes to sort any setups or do whatever changes they feel they want to. I don't really think there is anything they can change in the...
no, default setups, of course. Yeah.
Yes, default setups, yeah. So, whatever they want to do in that 2 minutes before they ready up, that is what we're going to switch to. Then I'll be calling out the order for them. And once we've done that, I shall return to the box and we will get this final race of the Touring Car League underway.
Nice one. And I have no idea how Hunter is not extremely dizzy at the moment. Well, maybe he is, and he will just start turning immediately on the race start in a second. But he's actually going forward on the track now, so... I'm not sure how ideal preparation for the race. It is going backwards in circles for about 2 minutes. But, you know, I'm sure it works for some. We shall get the answer in just a second. So then, I like how the viewership as well on the stream went up as we are just in a messing around intermission session basically, with some backwards donuts and some forwards donuts and Andrex being smashed up and you know all kinds of craziness, and someone's trying to burn nuts down the straight. That's a nice looking car, wouldn't you say, guys? The BMW looks not better with no body parts on. Oh, there comes Hunter again. Oh, look at that. That's some style on that one. There should be style points in this league, actually. I've just realized that We should have a style point system as well. That's an interesting engine sound as well from from the Hunter there as he went down. Oh man. You can see the timer. It's not too long until we're gonna be skipping on to the race session. Still a few cars having fun out there while we wait. Feel free to leave a like on the stream and stuff if you enjoyed the first race, and if you're looking forward to this 40 minutes second race coming up. There we go. Practice session over. And there's been one time set. One person took the practice seriously, and that is Rick with a 140.3. That is completely useless information, of course. Not only because it's only lap time on the board, but because the weather will be different, because there's just been a very dramatic weather change here at the Nürburgring. All the rain has disappeared in a matter of seconds, and it's a warm, hazy morning now. It's only 8 AM in game, but it is some sun, it is some haze on the track. Very different conditions from the first race. And this is what the drivers will face then in this second race of the night. 40-minute main race. Reverse grid based on the results of the first race. And the lights are out! And the engines are revving. But no cars really moving, because as usual we will have a manual rolling start procedure. King-Kodiak at the moment down with the drivers calling out the grid in the correct order. They're just pulling off their starting space one by one. And I have no control of these cameras, by the way. That is all KK while he's doing the grid, so he is very much multitasking at the moment. I'm just sitting here talking about random things. Firefly pulling away. He shall be starting in 7th by the looks of it. Not sure why someone has mentioned Marcus Winkelhock in the chat. Well, actually, well, it's Nürburgring, so kind of relevant, I guess. It's not not wet, unfortunately. I'm sure Mr. Marcus would have needed some wet to be leading another lap in his life. There we go. Nearly are all cars off the grid now. TM Touring, the championship leader, pulling off back there. He will be starting in 18th place. He's got that 6-point championship lead ahead of Andrex, who will be starting 2 positions behind him. They will be starting 18th and 20th respectively. Only Vinkitor starting behind them there at the back, of course from not finishing the first race. So he unfortunately has to start from the back. And between Andrex and Touring will be Scott, of course, and that will be an extra obstacle for Andrex if he wants to follow Touring through the field, as we have Mr. KK back in the box.
Hello, hello. Andrex made a very concerning observation that the damage that he sustained in that joke practice session is still registering on his screen, but as we can quite clearly see, his car is in a perfect condition. So if other people start registering superfluous damage, that could be a little interesting.
Okay, does that mean it didn't affect him at all on performance, or?
Well, it looks okay.
Yeah, now it does, of course.
But on his damage overlay, it was still actually showing as yellow and red, basically. But
oh, from the practice session.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
So we will see. These guys. We will see how he does then. If he completely falls away. Yeah, because other people, of course, lots of other people had damage, which they should not have. It shouldn't carry over. So if that does actually prove to be the case, the session would be restarted. So we will see what's what.
Hopefully that won't be the case.
Well, indeed, as they now form the 2x2 line. as they head up towards... Oh, I need to get my track map. There we go.
They are heading up towards the Coca-Cola curve, apparently, according to my...
Coca-Cola curve.
Coca-Cola.
Yes, which I can't say with the correct terminator. So it's up to Baratas then, as to when he floors it to signify the beginning of the race. And he's maintaining his rate of knots.
Here we go.
There we go. Wow, look at Andrex. He's really looking to get on with it right the way back there. Really positioning his car in the middle of what only can be described as 4-5 wide.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my. Ooh, Gira, that's Van Ommen that kind of cut off the nose of the BMW. But everybody seems to have got through okay. Baratas then trying to get away from everybody behind. That's going to be a very, very hard job. Yeah, there's a lot of toing and froing going on. There is Touring nearly slamming into the back of Van Ommen. And, whoa, Andre's getting very wide. Big jump on board with him just to see if, I mean, his car seems to be handling the road okay. I haven't had any messages to indicate that the session being restarted. That's
no.
Oh, 3 wide coming through the cut through. My God, that's brave. They have completed it, though. No one has flown off the road. And say Vincador was the one person that disconnected, so he had to start from the back. So, oh, no sooner do I say that, that's Mazda that's off, and he is not moving. His day is, well, I would think his day is done, and he is out.
I think it was Oblitor he might have had contact with, potentially, as Baratas is still leading the field through the chicane. Let's see, Touring and Andrex still very close together back there. Of course, those guys, we need to keep an eye on that for the championship as well.
Everybody is close together.
Yeah, it's what you expect, of course, in the reverse grid race. And look at that, how close the championship leaders. Andrex in the yellow BMW, Touring in the red Ren on the outside.
Oh, he got boxed.
Side by side, Andrex been boxed in a little bit as Touring getting a great exit going past at Alexis coming on the main straight. I don't think Andrex had quite the run to follow through. But it's crucial for these guys to get as quickly through the field as possible, or for the guy behind the other one to basically follow through, as it's a bit of touching with basically congesting into the 3 wide through the apex there. And Andrex is ahead of Touring.
That's going to be crucial, but it's how long he can stay there for. It's 34 minutes to go, and look at that, Touring throws it on the inside of turn 3. He's going to regain that particular spot. There he is, he's run a little bit wide on the exit of turn 5, and of course that's Andrex right with him. Oblitor has got himself a penalty as well, and yeah, Andrex didn't fancy another 3 wide through the cut through then, as they now return to the Kumo curve. Andrex is still nailed to the back of his championship rival Zenny up to second, but he's going to have a penalty as well. That's 2 seconds for him, so he's really going to have to get on with it if he wants to hang on to the positions at the sharp end.
Absolutely. Zenny, of course.
Dory's got a penalty as well, and another 30-second penalty. That'll be Oblitor. 2 seconds for Touring and 1 for Vincador. That could be absolutely crucial at the end. Oh my goodness me, the penalties are coming in thick and fast now.
Yeah, that's very interesting to see. We didn't really have a lot of penalties in the first race, but the top 3 breaking away are Baratas, Zenny with that 2-second penalty, and Rick as well, right onto the back of him coming down the straight. That could be a position change incoming. Both 2 fast guys who were way out of position in the results of the first race, really, compared to where they've usually been this season. Zenny is potentially my favorite for the win in this race based on previous round form. Now that it's dry again, he clearly didn't like the rain in the first race. But Rick as well will challenge him hard, I'm sure, and Baratas hanging on in there. So, in the midfield at the moment, on board with Lindholt, running in 9th position. He's got a pack in front and a pack behind. A lock-up from Noah just behind him as well.
That's quite an uncomfortable position to be in with so many cars around. Yeah. And again, I know we keep cutting back to these 2 at the back, but of course this is where the championship battle is. Andrex has fallen off the back of, I see TAO and Tautana. Oh no, that's a big problem. That's Gosku. That is Kamakroppa then. That's Oblitor. That has hit him as well, I think. Yeah, he's the monster-flavoured Renault. So Oblitor and Gosku came together. That's another couple of positions then for Andrex and Touring. Touring now up to 15th. With Andrex now up to 17th again. There's still several people. Where is Hunter? There he is, up to 9th. Oh, a lot of damage on his car though. So he's had a lot of battling going on already. But it's as is always the way with touring cars, it is impossible to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, Touring, I think, has done something at the chicane. It's jumped up from 15th to 13th and then down again to 14th. So, and then down to 15th again. So, it's trying everything. Both iRacing and Touring is trying everything, but they're not really making progress as fast as they can. Has been another huge incident there. That is Noah.
Noah and Lindholt. Noah and Lindholt have come together at the Coca-Cola curve. That's put them right down to the back of the order. Oh my goodness me, you would think we would have this many impacts when it was wet.
Yeah, everyone kept it clean in the rain, but yeah, it's been at least three incidents so far in this particular race. Most of them keeping it clean as two cars running wide back there as well. No contact though, I think, as iRacing is now 13th position, but Touring has moved up to 11th through all of that. So iRacing is still on the back foot. He needs to outscore Touring by 5 points, actually by 6 points, because Touring has had 2 wins this season, whereas iRacing has had none. He's had a second place at best. There's another 2 cars going slow.
Who was that? That's not Goscoot. Trying to get the name as myself. That's is fun. Look at the damage on that car. That is not looking nice. There was somebody else I thought off into the grass, but whoever that was, looks like they got going again. But yeah, but that person, Andrex now is right on. There it is. He's on Touring's case. That is 9th and 10th for the Renault and BMW respectively. Touring having a look on the outside of the Altenbachsborgen. Now looking for the outside again, coming into the Vidal chicane. And that is being defended by the one and only Opel of Marauder. And Marauder looks like he's going to try and jump to the inside for that final turn. I think Andrews is kind of biding his time a little bit. He knows he's right with the main person he needs to be with, but of course he wants to be several positions ahead. But Andrews is a wise old man. He knows full well that the race is not won this early on. And
or does he?
He's going to get a run. He's going to take the opportunity if it arises. But that's going to put 3 wide into the first turn. He's got the Opel. He's got the Renault. It's very nicely done, but can he hold it as he comes into the Mercedes arena? Yes, he does. What a move then by the yellow BMW of Andrex.
Fantastic stuff. And as it stands at this particular moment, I think actually Andrex might be taking the lead of the championship purely because Touring has a 2-second penalty, and there's several cars within 2 seconds behind him as he stands. But of course, on his pace, you'd expect him to pull away from them and even challenge Andrex back, because he has looked fast all season, but so has Andrex, who's forced to defend here into the cut through, or whatever you called it before. I can't remember.
That's what I called it, the cut through.
But yeah, this is so cool to see both championship contenders this close, fighting from the back of the field. They're halfway through if they want to make it to the front, and Touring getting a much better line onto the back straight here, though that BMW does have some nice straight line speed. And I think Touring shouldn't want to make any too big risks into the chicane. No, it looks like he's going to stay to the outside. Andrex feeling the need to go defensive. Touring breaking super late. Oh no, he's going to go for it, but it's run too deep.
Oh. And there goes the Opel of Marauder. He's going to try and get the inside. He has. But is he going to bring... That's Orbital that's, I think, that's with him as well. Is he going to bring him with him? Not quite. Oh, what a move by Touring on the outside of the last turn to retake the Opel Astra. Very nicely done. That has given Andrex about 8/10 of a gap, though that is not what Touring wanted at all. But still some way to go and still a lot of battling. Look again. Possible 3 wide coming in the first turn. Oh, that could have been very nasty. As again, that's one of the yellow Renault's going a little bit deep into the first turn. We saw there, might have been Scott or Shaggy Dan, who's going a bit deep there into turn 1. That could have been nasty. If Touring had caught the back of Marauder, he might be front wheel drive, but that would have almost certainly caused a spin. But still they continue then. 9th for Touring, 8th for Andrex, with 27.5 minutes to go.
Oh, and they're still battling over behind. Marauder is challenging for Oblitor, who nearly ran off the track there. He's gone very wide indeed, but he's managed to keep it on there and hang on with his nose to the inside. And they're still side by side. Marauder are hanging on the outside line. Who's going to come out on top in this battle for 10th place, the final top 10 position as we stand in this race? So far, it's the Opel, as mentioned before, the only Opel in the grid, and Oblitor has had a bad exit. It's going to put him under pressure from Vinkitor as well, who's just driven straight through off the corner and potentially all the way up to Marauder.
Very nicely done. There is, as there always is, battles up and down the field. That's the lead at the moment. Baratis has still got it from Zenny. Rick is not far behind. He's fallen a little bit off this battle, but Zenny is still keeping the pressure on. Bit of a lock-up into turn one, but nothing too bad. Ironic is up to 4th. What a great effort from him. He is kept Firefly. Firefly started from, I've got to try and think, it was around
7th, yeah.
So yeah, about 7. There is Van Orman in the next BMW. And Alexis in 7. Andrex with Tau Tau. I did it again. I knew I'd do it at some point. For anyone wondering who Tau Towner is, it was someone who commentated on through season 9. Of course, I see TOU and my brain doesn't auto-complete in the wrong direction. So Andrex and Tori with that 8th and 9th, rounding out the top 10's Marauder. He's broken away a little bit from... Oh, no, he hasn't at all. Vincator's had a great run then. From that's through 4 and 5. Now coming through the cut through 2 wide again. And look at the crowd that he's got with him. That's Omnitor. Oh, big! That could be big trouble. That is indeed trouble for Omnitor. He got very, very out of shape and manages to hold on to it just. That's 2 Desert Pack. That's right with him. Oh, another bit of unpack, but they carry on going. It was Otan, or Hunter as he's now known. And there's a lot of flapping front wings going on in there. But a couple of people through the pits as well. Yeah. My God, we've got more people without, more people with penalties than without penalties in this particular race.
Crazy stuff.
That's how hard people are pushing. That's how much fighting is going on. Let's have a quick look. That's what the penalty board looks like at the moment. I mean, the only one that's
Zen is taking the lead, I think. Zen is moving up to the lead of the race, and Barata's fallen into the clutches of Rick as well. Zenny has made a move on that previous lap and pulled a gap. Maybe Barata's made a mistake. I saw him run wide at turn 1 on the previous lap. That's not where he lost it, but he might have run wide somewhere else as Rick is putting his elbows up the inside. Barata's forced to leave room. A little bit of typical touring car wheel banging, luckily without anyone spinning off the track. And Baratas is fighting hard. He's hanging on in there. Rick, though, he probably feels like he's the faster driver just based on previous... Oh, no, that's gone wrong. That's gone wrong.
Yeah, that's gone horribly wrong. Rick was overcommitted to that, and he just basically brought Baratis with him. Ironic goes through into 2nd. Baratis is back underway. There's Van Orman with Firefly and Alexis with him. Rick is now back underway. There's Andrex and he's actually broken away from Touring. That's 2 seconds that Andrex in the BMW. So Touring has made a mistake somewhere, and Touring then has fallen off the back of the BMW. Andrex might have an opportunity then to start to climb up the field and get the positions he needs if he wants to, if he wants to secure that championship. He's got to get more cars in between him and Touring. He can't rely just on the penalty alone. So this could be an opportunity for Andrex to
Oh, look in the foreground. Crazy battling going on up ahead. Oh. And that is nearly contact. That is Firefly being forced a bit wide.
Yeah, and Alexis bounced off the apex of the final turn, then that actually pushed Firefly wide. That's allowed Rick and Andrex through. There's another position then again for the yellow BMW, and doesn't look like Touring has actually lost a bit of pace for some reason. Maybe Touring has got some penalties, damage rather, on that car that we can't necessarily see. Well, we know he's got a penalty, but again, penalties can be appealed, so that's another reason why you can't entirely rely on them. But it does look like Touring's suddenly fallen off the pace a little bit. Andrex 33.3 last time around. Touring at 34.4, so 1.1 seconds to the BMW's favour, which is not common in the drive. We saw it in the wet, which is where the BMW certainly has an advantage. But if Touring's got himself damaged, that could again play into Andrex's hands.
Yeah, it is critical situation now for Touring at the moment. Luckily for him, there's only 1 point difference between most of the points in the point system. You need to get onto the podium if you want to get 2 or 3 more points than the position behind. So as it stands, Andrex really needs 5 cars between himself and Touring. Unless he can get onto the podium, then it gets better for him. And Andrex still has over half the race to make that happen. So it could well be, especially if Touring is at this stage having problems. But you'd expect as well, Andrex, he is forced to do some battling in a second. He could potentially bring Touring back in, but yeah, you're saying completely right. Touring is running way slower than we usually see him.
He is really struggling. That car is not planted at all. as he's coming through the apexes. Just to see what his lap was this time around. 35.2 from Touring. I reckon he's got down. Look at that pack behind. Look at that. Can't count them. 2, 4, 6, 8 cars in that particular pack. That is from Marauder. It's Scott in 10th. The blue and yellow car at the front of this particular gaggle of cars. To Gosku is 17th. So 8 cars included in this particular battle. That's got a lot of legs on it. Another battle here, which Firefly is at the tail of. There we can see Baratis, Rick, Andrex, Firefly, and I think Adalexis at the front of that as well. So if Touring has got damage, he's got a long way to go. We've still got over 20 minutes.
Oh, Andrex!
What a move! My goodness me, Andrex is keen to get on with it. Flew on the inside of Adalexis. Adalexis either chose to let Andrex go, not wanting to get involved in the championship battle, or he made a mistake. He may have just got his line run. It didn't look anything that outrageous. He just looked like he braked too early. And Andrex, what an opportunistic move. Flew on the inside of the Kumo curve to take 6th. And that puts 3 positions between himself and his main championship rival. But still a long way to go. We've seen even the best make mistakes. And Andrex isn't immune to them. He's pretty rare, of course, but he's not immune. He's got Adalexis nailed to his tail. So I don't think Adalexis let him go. I think it was just a mistake that Adalexis made. That's the view from the blue and white Renault. Heading down towards the first turn. That's Baratis and Rick in the next 2 Renaults. Rick is really staying with the pole sitter for this race. Zenny is 9.3 seconds in the lead at the moment. So he's having a pretty comfortable race. And that's over Ironic. Ironic and Van Almen are not too far apart, but not in a immediate position challenging distance. That's what there is, the blue and white BMW of Van Almen. Oh, no sooner do I say that, actually, he has got right on the back of Ironic. And there is the battle we've just been seeing with Andrex still fending off that blue and white Renault. It is happening once again. It is happening here, there, and everywhere.
Absolutely, it's as usual in these touring car races, impossible to know where to look at a given time. There's battles up and down the field, and that is Baratis going very slow. Is that a potential cut track slowdown for him? He's going very slow on the back straight now.
But I guess it was.
I guess some reason he's going very slow down the straight anyway, and he's lost 3 positions as a result of it. Andrex up to P5 then, with Touring still in 9th. Touring actually had a good lap last time. He did a 32.9, so he might be back on the pace, and he's actually going to be back on the positions as well, challenging Firefly on the inside into the final corner. This time Firefly did not get forced off, Touring leaving him the required amount of room to keep it clean, but he's got the position. As long as he can hang on to it, Firefly should be getting the slipstream. Now running down the straight, Touring fighting hard to keep the lead of the championship as he stands with Andrex 3 positions ahead of him. He will be leading the championship by 2 points only, and it is not safe at all as Andrex is looking to challenge Rick at the moment for 4th.
Yep, that he is, and there it is from the yellow BMW's perspective, 32.6 from Touring last time around, so that was an absolutely cracking lap. The fastest of anybody last time around. I wouldn't be surprised to learn if that was the fastest of the race indeed. Coming through the cut through once again, and oh, that's Rick that's wandered wide at the cut through. That's 4th then, that's been granted to Andrex, and Baratis and Rick as well. It's a little bit side by side. Adalexis has come past these 2 since we last looked at them, so Adalexis up to 5th, and there is the blue and white Renault, and there is Touring. He wants to get on with it. He does not want to lose any more time to his main rival. There,
oh my goodness.
You can see Alman and Ironic as that is very close. Oh, impact Touring. That was Touring and Rick that came together. Oh my goodness me, that is not good. Is Touring he's gone back on the case. I did wonder whether he was going to let Rick through, as it did look like it was an impact from the red Momo coloured Renault that sent Rick wide. But he has chosen to continue with that, puts him in 8th place. Then Firefly and Baratis directly ahead. Adalexis is still on the tail of Andrex, though. He's not wanting to let that fourth place go just yet, but they're not too far behind. We go to Andrex, you can see it's 3.2 seconds between Andrex and the podium positions. So the championship battle, the racing battles are nowhere near done.
Absolutely not. Andrex, as it stands, is very close to the championship. He's actually had a challenge back though at Alexis. This is confirmed. She definitely did not intend to let Andrex through earlier in the race, because he's fighting hard to get that place back. Andrex cannot really he cannot afford this, but he has no choice. And Alexis is making a nice move there to get through, but he slid through the left-hander. He kept control of it. Nice save there from Alexis, who we know is fast as well. But Andrex, I'm sure, would have loved for him to just sit there as a, just follow him, just be a nice boy. But yeah, Alexis is fighting hard and has to defend.
No such luck at all. Then it's going to be too wide coming into Vidal. No, Andrex backs out of that one. He decided to try and get a better exit instead. And Alexis has chosen to defend the inside line into the final turn. The battle for second still rages on. And that's Omen and ironic that the third car in that particular pack, I think, is that Lindholt? No. Yeah, it's Mickersby. The Mickersby and Lindholt have been through the pits. That's why they're completely out of position. And they have been lapped by the top three now. Ironic still putting pressure on. There in the background is the battle and Alexis. And Andrex rages on. But of course that is costing them time against the podium three. So whilst they fight, the podium slips away from them. Soaring is still there behind Firefly and behind Baratis. He wants to get past them as quickly as we can. Let's get a cockpit view, why not? That's what it looks like from on board within Touring's helmet, and through one he goes. He's got him. That's Firefly as he came through the cut through. Firefly forced wide, and a pretty clean move for Touring then. Oh, Firefly has got himself right under that rear wing. He doesn't want to let that position go either. So it's plenty going on. Andrex is still keeping and Alexis true further down the field. There is Hunter Rodon trying to fend off two Desert Pack. This is for 11th position, and behind them is a bit of a queue of cars. There we see Shaggy down, Vincator just about at the top of the shot was a Marauder. That's Scott that's just come through the picture as well. Two Desert Pack looking like he's going to shape up a move on Odon. No, he chose not to do it. Oh no, that's Shaggy down in trouble. He's made a spin. He's a little bit off the racing line, so it won't cause any trouble to anybody, I don't think. Away he goes. He didn't get any impact, just got caught out on the grass there. And away he goes then with no damage on his car. Oh my goodness me.
Oh, Touring is battling. He's trying to get up to 6th place, and he's done it on both Baratis and Firefly. Crucially for his championship situation, especially as Andrex in 5th place has still not gotten ahead of Alexis, and they're not really closing too much on the top 3 either. So suddenly the advantage is back in Touring's hands. Of course, he still has that 2-second penalty to contend with, but Baratis and Firefly also have some kind of penalties handed onto them. You can see on the list on the left, everyone with a red number, red position indicator, has some kind of time penalty from corner cutting, you would assume, in this race so far.
That's what the penalty board looks like. So it's pretty busy in there.
And that is way more than we usually see in Challenge Spence. I mean, in general, it's been a more dirty race, I'd say, than definitely what we're used to seeing in both this league and AOR in general. I guess maybe the final race of the season, some drivers getting a little bit too desperate and just not buckling under pressure a little bit. But either way, it could well be as well. Of course, the drivers can make steward's inquiries, which could mean the results could change even after the race is finished. So we can't take anything for granted in not the championship battle for P1 and not any of the other battles further down the field either. But
no, indeed,
we can only go from what we are seeing on the screens at the moment. And as it stands, Touring is winning the championship just about ahead of Andrex. And what we are also seeing is Firefly ahead of Rick going into the first corner, wearing the same livery, monster liveried Renaults there. And Firefly looks to be hanging on to that position at the moment. But yeah, still battles up and down the field.
We finally have an opportunity to breathe a little bit, even though there's still a bit of a locker there for Firefly coming out of the Mercedes arena. Let's have a look at who's where then. Leading the way is Zenny by 10.3 over the BMW of Mr. Van Ommen, who leads Ironic by 3 seconds. The podium 3, are 4.4 ahead of this battle. Oh, again, Alexis getting the opposite lock on, coming through the Vidal chicane. Beg your pardon, coming through Kumo curve and Bit curve. There is Touring right behind them in 6th place, being chased by Baratis, our pole sitter for this race. And Rick and Firefly are swapping positions, and Rick just getting the inside line for the Hatzbecks-Morgan as they come into the Vidal chicane. Rick now into 8th place. Firefly right with them. There is Odon in a big old scrap. There, that is a 4/10 overall. That's Scott trying to bounce through on the inside. Oh my goodness me, Odon getting a bit of a helping hand there.
He actually got help.
By Desert Pack in the red, white and blue Renault, who himself trying to get the inside line there on Scott. And that at the back of that particular pack is Vincator, who's got a great ringside seat for this. You can see that's Odon, who's been hanging on to the front of this battle for so long with all that damage on his car. Looks like Scott has managed to nose ahead, but Odon's going to have the inside line now, 3 wide coming through the first turn. Is this an opportunity for Vincator to try and do something about it? No, not quite. In the background you just saw Gosku, Shaggydan and Marauder 14, 15, 16 respectively. And again Vincator's outbraked himself, but can't outbrake to Desert Pack. Now Scott has finally managed to get ahead of Odon through the Mercedes arena and through 4 and 5, but all of them are pretty damaged. And
I can't help but laugh. The front, what's it called? The bumper of both Hunter and Shaggydan, and Scott is just making the exact same movement, synchronized, going down the straight.
They're talking about oh, Tori's made a mistake. Tori's made a mistake. He's damaged. Touring is he's in big trouble. Look at it. I mean, he's got a talking front bumper as well. He's down to 9th. He would have lost a lot of pace. He's being caught by that pack, 10th to 13th. Oh no, what has happened?
Oh, it's all gone wrong for Touring. We didn't see what happened, but he's had a collision with someone or something. Oh man, and look at all these cars coming for him now. Of course, some of those have bumper damage as well. But that means Touring is going to have to defend hard. As it stands, Andrex P5, Touring P9. If Touring loses one more position...
And look at the amount of pace that Scott's got on him. That's just Slipstream alone. Of course, Touring's going to try and defend the inside, but he's not got the pace for it. That was oh, that's way too deep for Scott. He's going to lose that position back to Odon, the hard-fought position. Oh no, he's just about on the inside line, just keeping Odon behind him. But Touring did a 47 last time around. He lost about 13, 14 seconds last time. So he's been off and into the wall somewhere. We saw he was honing in on Andrex, but he was not close enough to make a position, make an attempt for that spot. I think he's just made a mistake. So yep. I think he's just had an argument with the wall, and now he's got it all to do. He's got to do it for another 8.5 minutes.
It's good for Touring that some of the cars behind is battling each other as well, because as it stands, Andrex is 4 positions ahead of Touring. Touring will still win the championship. There needs to be 5 cars, as long as Andrex does move on to the podium between him and Touring, for him to take it. And look at this, it's going to be 4 cars between them now, 5 positions, as Scott is moving to the inside on Touring into the chicane here. If Touring now loses this position and one more, he is no longer winning the championship.
And 2 Desert Pack is now gotten his way past Odard. So that damage on that green and black Renault is still holding him back. 2 Desert Pack is now going to shape up a move on Touring. You could just see the pace he's lost. That was for Touring. It was a 35.4 last time around. There he goes. Touring is actually down to 12th. He's lost the position to Odon as well. Oh, he's going to dive on the... Oh, that could get very ugly. Is there now 3 wide? All 3 of them have gone off. That's actually allowed Vincator to come through. Touring is down to 13th. That's Odon through as well. It is all unraveled in the final race of the season for Touring.
Oh, he got squeezed there between 2 cars trying to navigate turn 1 at the same time, all just going for the same piece of track. coming out of the apex, and it's worked out worst for TM Touring. He needs, as long as Andrex is in P5, Touring needs 11th. Well, actually, let's see. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he needs 10th, I think.
Yeah.
To hold on to the championship.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't bring up the. I wondered if there was going to be any indication on the speedo whether what damage he has, but absolutely not. So Touring then fallen to the back of this particular pack, and with how easily they caught him, and look at the gap that's already formed. And that's just between the bit curve and the VDOL chicane. That was half a second. And we've been seeing how damaged Odon's car is. I think Touring is going to be out of it, unless, of course, Andrex has a problem. I think he's backed off. There he is. He's backed off from the back of Alexis. He may have realised that Touring, because, of course, the drivers do know what relative positions, or at least he will see the next few positions down the road. He will realise Touring's not in those positions. May just have backed off. I mean, he did a 33.5. Alexis did a 32.8. He's actually getting close to... He's getting 1.5 seconds actually to ironic. So Andrex may have just decided to let him go, and it looks like he's going to pay off. Rick is on the back of Baratis then. That's for 6th position. But of course, Touring, the man who's been trying to keep tabs on all race long.
Oh, it's battling ahead of him. Touring really needs these two guys to take each other out to give him an extra 2 positions. If there's a 2-car collision ahead of Touring, he is very close again to being in the position he needs.
He needs all 3 of them to basically... He needs everybody directly in front of him just to completely collide. That is what Touring is going to be hoping for, with just over 5 minutes of this race to go. In the background there, you've got Shagidan, Gosku, Oblator and Marauder. They're in their own battle as well. So even now, even this point in this race, it's still all going on absolutely everywhere.
And apparently, Brownski's pointed out that Andrex is only 1 second away from 4th, technically, because Ironic has a 4-second penalty as well, which means that Alexis actually has that position as it stands, even though he hasn't actually passed him on track. And look at how he's bunching up through the chicane once again. Touring actually given potential opportunity, but Vincator is going to move to the inside to block that opportunity. For Touring is going to get a better exit, but he's touched the back just about of Vincator mid-corner, which is going to hamper his run out of it as well, and certainly not going to help. Well, maybe he could have helped put his bumper back in place, but he hasn't done so. And
also bearing in mind that the lap time wise, again, last time around Andrex was 33.7. He's slower. He's over a second slower in some cases than everybody ahead of him. So Andrex isn't closing that gap down in front. So unless someone from top 4 has a problem, it does look like Andrex, he's not going to close in enough on the podium, but at the moment he doesn't need to. Touring is just in all kinds of trouble. He needs a massive pile-up.
Oh, look at this.
All things like that, with Vincator running way too wide on the exit of turn 4 and 5. That's given Touring 12th. He needs, what was it? He needs 10th, did you say? He needs
10th, yeah, exactly.
With Andrex where he is, and Andrex is 2.5 seconds ahead of Baratis, so not in any immediate danger behind him either. So it is all down, unless of course Andrex makes a mistake or someone in front of him makes a mistake to jumble up this order in some way. It is all on Touring to get up just 2 more spots. It is of course possible with all this close battling going on, but it is still a pretty tall order.
It really is. I think all of these cars in this train has some kind of damage to their cars, but just based on how the pace has dropped off for Touring, you might think that he potentially is worst affected out of all these guys. As look at this battling ahead of him as well. That is Hunter and to Desert back going side by side, and Touring can see the 10th place he needs right there. It's literally less than a few tenths ahead of him, but there's 2 cars in the way, and he can't get any pace on the straight. And Vincator's going to move to the inside. Touring's going to move to the inside. To Desert back hanging on to the position. No changes through the first corner. We only have 2 minutes 40 seconds remaining for Touring to win back this championship.
Also, I've just realised Touring's got that 2-second penalty as well. So he's not just got to get up to 10th, he's got to get on with it. He's done a lovely move on the inside of Odon, of the Hunter. He is just 1 position away. Oh, that's a back marker. That's Mikas beyond Noah, I think. On the inside there, I think it's all. Oh, he's just made that a bit easier, I think, for for Touring. Not too big an impact, door-to-door there for Vincator and Hunter. That's actually put him right in the clutches of Shaggy Dan. That pack has completely closed up.
I think we need a quick penalty check because everyone in this pack has penalties and that could be crucial. Touring's got 2 seconds. Tudesibak's got 10! But you often see those kind of big penalties getting appealed and removed because they were too harsh, so that is something we will have to wait on. Maybe this championship won't be decided until after the race. But as it stands, with Tudesibak's 10-second penalty, Touring is actually in the position he needs. Hunter behind though, I didn't see what penalty he has, and he's got a much better exit out of the chicane. He's got only 1 second. Touring is behind Hunter as it stands, because Hunter's got 1 second less in terms of penalties. So this is far from over yet. Penalty's going to play a big part. Touring basically just needs to get as high up as he possibly can and hope for the very best.
Oh, there goes. Look at that. That's Odon. That's Hunter looking to move him down to 12th, which he does. Because exactly what we just said, penalties still have a big part to play. Basically, we won't know who's where until everybody has come to rest. After the checkered flag falls, we are on the penultimate lap. Touring is not giving up on that 11th spot. He's going to have the inside
lock up.
Big lock up. That forces Odon a little bit wide, and that's going to give him the inside then for the next turn. On they go, but Hunter has had a great run out of that last turn, and he's again forced to the outside. Let me get the right camera. There we go. He's forced to the outside for the cut through. Still can't do anything about it. But that 10th position currently occupied by Tudesibak is tantalizingly goes across. And now, if Tudesibak's 10-second penalty is appealed and removed, of course, then that 10th will remain. But if Tudesibak's actually accrued several penalties to build up to 10 seconds, then nothing may happen. But Odon again looking to try and get the slipstream on Touring, heading into the Vidal. Oh, who's that behind? That's Shaggy Dan getting very out of shape. He got a little bit too ambitious on the inside. Oh, look at that. That's Oblator flying through. Great move there. But Touring has actually been demoted to 12th. Odon on the last turn has managed to make that move stick. There is Scott and Tudesibak side by side. The timer has expired. This is the final lap then as Tudesibak jumps to the inside to try and defend the line, but Scott's going to have the momentum. Oh, impact between the two. On they continue. Oh my goodness, it's just impossible to call right now.
Oh, huge moment. What a save from Scott. He's held on to it somehow. I have no idea how he saved that. That looked like a pretty hefty hit from Tudesibak, but he's hung on to it. Tudesibak backed out of it probably intentionally there as well, and that has given Hunter a chance to fight for this 10th place position.
And there he goes.
I think Zenny is about to win the race. Actually, he's so far out in front ahead of this particular pack, and there we go. Zenny wins the final race of the season, but he's not going to win the championship. When Owen's going to come home in 2nd place, no penalties for him. And Alexis is going to take 3rd. He's got no penalties. Ironic is in 4th, as he says. Adrex is in 5th. Ironic's going to have 4 seconds of penalties, but I think Adrex is just about too far behind. So Andrex coming towards the line. No penalties for him, crucially up to 5th from the back of the field. He is, I think, our new champion here, unless Touring can do something incredible here. He's got 10th place just ahead of him on track, but he's not going to position unless he's going to cut underneath both of them. Touring up to 11th, up to 10th, into the final corner. Tudesibak cutting across his front toes. This is absolutely crucial. Touring needs this position, but Hunter, of course, doesn't have enough penalties as well for what Touring needs. Let's see what the position will be as they cross the line. Touring, it says he's 10th.
It does say he's 10th. He does indeed. Has he actually done it? It all hinges on whether, I think it was Tudesibak had the 10-second penalty. It all hinges on that, but Touring has indeed finished in 10th position. That was the position he needed. So here are the positions, and as they stand, wow, goodness me, Zenny 1, Van Orman 2, Adalexis 3, Ironic 4th, Andrix 5, Rick 6, Baratis 7, Scott 8, Odon 9, and there it is, Touring in 10th position, Firefly 11, Gostu 12, Shaggy Dan 13, Vincator 14, Tudesibak 15, Marauder 16, Noah 17, Oblator 18, myself 90, and Lindholt at the back of the field. Oh my!
That's an unbelievable race. And the important thing to note here, Firefly is one of the reasons Touring is in 10th place at the moment. He's got 18 seconds of a penalty and only dropped just behind Touring. He actually finished much further ahead. So we'll have to see. To Decepec as well, I'm not sure if he was ahead of Touring or not across the line. Let's have a look. Yeah, he was actually. So to Decepec and Firefly, potentially both with penalty removals in the stewards panel after the race. We will have to see what happens with that. This championship, even though the final race is finished, is not actually over. As it stands, Touring is our first ever AOR Project Cars 2 Touring Car champion by 0 points. It's going to be on cutback because he's got more wins than Andrex, 2-0 on the same amount of points as he stands at the moment. Andrex finishing in P5, Touring in P10. But we will just have to wait and see what happens with the penalties. It's quite annoying, really, that we can't call a clear, you know, completely set champion at the end of the broadcast. But this is how close it's been, and with that many penalties in the final race, we just don't know yet. We can't say whether Touring has actually held on to the championship or if it's Andrex who's going to get it.
Oh my! I'm utterly wrecked. That was fabulous. Thoroughly enjoyed that. We have some people wanting to talk to us, Fizzy.
Do we have any voice left for talking?
Do we have any energy left? Wow.
Both the championship contenders? Do we dare get them in at the same time?
Let's do it. Let's bring them in.
Oh my goodness. Okay then.
Let's grab them.
So then, this is dramatic, guys. We've got both of our championship contenders. I'm not even saying who's champion yet because I have no idea. Into
I
the.
can tell you.
Well, it's interesting because, as it stands, technically you're on the same amount of points, but there is 2 guys that drop behind you, Touring, on the results because of quite massive penalties. So I have no idea whether they'll get removed or not.
Oh, I thought I was 4 points behind, so you made me slightly relieved for a second. I thought I just lost it because of my crew cheese crashing.
Oh, really?
That's why I kind of went off in a straight line into the wall, because it tabbed me out of the game, because crew cheese crashed.
Wow. Okay. So what the situation here at the moment is that you were 6 points ahead of Andrex into this particular race. Andrex finished 5th. He gets 16 points. As it stands, you're 10th. So you have 11, so that's the same amount of points. You got more wins, so as it stands, you have it. But as I said, yeah, we don't really know what's going to happen, whether those guys will appeal their penalties. That's really all it comes down to. So.
Well, they will. Trust me.
Yeah, normally.
Make sure they do.
Normally they do when they get penalties that big. So.
That race was so intense, so there could be hundreds of stewards' inquiries.
They really could. I mean, I don't think I've seen a race as dirty as this in AOR for a long time, but. Yeah, just tell us a bit, first of all. We'll start with you, Touring, because technically, right now, you're the champion. So, let's start with you. How do you feel after those 2 races?
Well, especially after that sad technical fault, relieved that race was over, because I was sweating my ass off for the past 20 minutes to try and get as close to Andrex as possible with that crew that I was battling in.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, we saw, of course, you get a damage somewhere on that second race. We didn't actually see it on camera, so can you tell us a bit what exactly happened there?
So basically, my crew chief crashed, coming in through the stadium section, so into the braking zone. So when it crashed, it tabbed me out the game.
Ah.
So cancel it, then go back into the game. And by that point, I'd already crashed into the wall and got 25 engine damage and 22 front end.
Oh, man. I was so
down on power.
Yeah, we noticed you were struggling. I mean, everyone in that pack had some kind of damage, really, but you seem to be struggling the most, really, especially on straight line speed. So that's quite gutting, I have to say.
It was absolutely impossible to keep up with everybody in that pack, start to finish, and that pack never seemed to go below 3 at any particular stage. You know, someone would run off into the distance and then somebody else would join the pack, and right at the end you then had another pack of 3 joining the back of your particular conga line. So your mind must have been utterly racing at this point, or was it just a case of get it to the end and worry about it later?
Honestly, I was just looking at the other guys and trying to work out when are they going to try and punt each other off next so I can make the advantage. Because literally I didn't have the straight line speed, so I kind of had to sit behind them and hope I could retaliate as soon as I got off the exit of the corner. Because I seemed to be quicker through the corners.
But a fairly quiet one for you, Andrex, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, yeah. The rain's good. Yeah. No, the BM's obviously pretty strong in the rain. I would certainly say it's the top car in the wet. But I only had 2 races out of 8 in the rain, so I had to make the most out of what I did from there. But race 1 was awesome. The car just hit a sweet spot just as I kind of was behind TM, and I managed to kind of sneak past. The car just obviously had more grip, and it was better on the exits and the wet stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, you've got to take it. Second race, yeah, that was a bit frantic. There was lots of kind of cars going off all around us in front of us. So I was concerned that something was going to collect me somewhere along the lines, but I managed to avoid everything. But I think there was one point where we went 3 wide into turn 1. I went through the in between 2 in the inside in a little BMW sandwich, but came out the other side and got past TM and whoever was on the inside as well. So that worked out. But that was hard work. That second race was really hard. It's not got the pace of those Renaults. There's no way it can really kind of compete up at the front. It took considerably longer to get through to the front than it did on that wet race at Alton Park. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens in the championship at the end. But hopefully, with any luck, we'll shove it up those Renault front-wheel drive scrubs.
Oh, shots fired.
Oh.
Take your stabilisers off next season, boys.
Also worth noting, Andrex, you're one of only 6 drivers that were penalty-free in that race.
Yeah,
20.
Yeah, it's worth keeping it clean because, as you say, I mean, like you'll get a minimum of a 1 second, probably 2, if you don't lift off and get rid of it. But and these cars, when the racing is so close, a lot of times they're so close, you can't afford to drop a second. So yeah, you've got to drive as hard as you can, but keep it in the limits. But yeah, that was good. And if I do manage to come away with it this one, then that's another default league title. So I think I need to withdraw from everything else and just stick to default stuff. I clearly can't set up a car for toffee.
Oh, I feel you, mate.
Yeah, but no. On the whole, it was awesome racing out there, and this is the really fun stuff when the cars are so close. You can get a little bit of contact, a little bit of door rubbing and stuff. That's fine. And the race, there's always going to be someone pretty close to you, especially with the reverse grids, because that's just awesome fun. Yeah, it's just frantic racing all the time. Most of the other series, like the GT3, the endurance races, after about halfway, you're probably on your own a little bit to an extent, but you just keep finding yourself behind somebody or somebody right behind you, and there's not a second to relax at all. It's just 100% all the way. It's good fun.
I think it's probably one of the few leagues, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, Fizzy, where we work as hard as the drivers do.
I don't think I've talked that loudly for the whole race ever before that I can remember. So it was literally everything, something dramatic, something crazy, something super close going on. So yeah, great fun to come in this league, that's for sure. It's unusual as well that we have that close a championship battle, in the final race. So that fair play to you guys for providing that as well. Even more unusual that we can't even call the player champion at the end of the broadcast.
Well, that's what we want, isn't it? We want a nail biter. That's what we need. I mean, it's gutting. I mean, well, I don't know if it will or not, but it would take a lot of it away due to the fact that TM's had a lot of unfortunate situations going on this season, because clearly he's a lot faster than me. Really, there's no doubting that. And I've profited from his misfortune on a couple of times. But well, if they happen, I'm going to take them. So yeah.
Any comments, Thoring, to add to that?
No, it's just if the championship goes his way, it's the way it goes, and
yeah.
I'll just have to work harder if we ever do TC again. Make sure it doesn't happen.
Dare you to take the BMW?
Well, I'll see how it goes. If I win the championship, I'll go BMW next season.
You all heard it. All
That's
those. I've got this recorded. It's going on my channel. There is evidence of that statement. You will either be forced to adhere to it, or you will regret it.
No, I'll adhere to it. I don't mind. I tested both before the season, so I kind of know what they both handle like.
Something else I wanted to also point out: the top 3 fastest laps of that race were indeed the top 3 of the race, but in reverse order. It was actually Adalexis in third that had 32.0 in the Renault, and Van Ommen in the Beamer with a 32.1.
Yeah, fair play to him. I like. Yeah, I didn't say congrats to Zenio for the actual race win with a just short of 8-second lead over everyone else. I mean, that's pretty strong. So well played. Nice one done. And obviously Van Ommen in the BM shows that it clearly does have pace to fight up there. Maybe not in my hands, but in terms of raw lap pace. But if you can keep it consistent, then you come away with some decent results.
Certainly.
Absolutely. I'm done. I'm knackered.
Yeah, absolutely knackered. Oh, I hope we have another touring car season at some point. Obviously, the GT3 season starting again next week. But whenever there's another opportunity to set up a touring car season, I'm certainly aiming to be commentating again, because that was a lot of fun through this.
If there is another one, I myself, because I did actually want to be part of this one. I did want to be down there in the field. But unfortunately, with the F1 esports races clashing with 50% of the races, I opted not to. But if they do run it, I may well attempt to drive in it.
Kodiak Racing rebuilt.
Rebuilt once again.
Alright, I don't know if there's too much more to add. Of course, we'll have to keep an eye then on the forum over the next few days, really, to see what happens with all the penalties and potential other inquiries as well that could affect things. As mentioned before, as it stands, Thoring's the champion on count pack of wins. That's how close it is, but it could well change for Andrix to be the champion as well over the coming days.
Congrats, GM. I think you deserve it, if nothing else. So yeah, well played, mate.
Well, I'll say congrats to you as well, just in case.
This is fantastic. You're both champions. Let's say for now, you're both champion. Yeah, you're both.
Everyone gets a gold medal.
The league is the winner.
Yeah. Well, fair play to you both. You've both have had a fantastic season, and thanks for making it exciting for us. And good luck in the next few days to see who comes out on top. But yeah, either way, you've done both yourselves proud with your performances this season. So well done.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Right, catch you guys later. I think there's one man at least we're gonna hear from more, just because he did actually win a race. So I'm gonna bring in Zenny to the commentary box quickly before we go. And here he is, the race winner. Hello there, winner of the final race of the season. The championship battle
comfortably as well.
Yeah, the championship battle didn't quite go the way you wanted, obviously, with that first race in the rain. Didn't seem to suit you, the rain. What happened there?
I don't have any idea. I really don't. I think I had the second slowest lap time, and it's just not what I wanted. I really have no explanation of what happened.
Yeah.
I was just slow, like really, really slow. I don't know why. I just don't know. I always knew I was quite slow in the rain on this game, but 3 seconds off the best lap it's pretty bad. Like, considering that being towards the front for the majority of the season.
Yeah, exactly. So we were definitely surprised to see you dropped through the field like that. But yeah, I mean, rain is a different beast to the dry sometimes. I know that myself as well. I'm also not the most comfortable usually in the rain conditions. But then of course in the dry race, the second race, you had a good starting position, but you made it work, and then you're back on the pace. Tell us a bit about that.
I'm happy I won, but this wasn't the win I was after really. I was obviously after the championship, but I kind of knew after the first race I was like, I'm not going to win. So all the pressure was kind of off my shoulders, and it was just about racing and kind of relaxing, having a bit of fun really. And you know, once I got in the lead, it was I wouldn't say easy, but I had like a really big lead, so I was able to just drive around at 90%, not make any mistakes and not make any errors, and kind of keep the gap.
And you did expertly as well. So yeah, at least ending up the season at a high, even if it there wasn't.
Yeah,
quite...
I'll just pretend that wet race never happened.
Yeah.
And the race at a high.
Fair enough. Don't know if you have anything more to add, Kodiak.
No, that's it.
No.
I just congrats to whoever won the title. That was Andrex or Torin. They were both really good all season, and they're definitely the two who deserve it the most.
Cheers, dude.
Fair play.
Personal win.
Yeah, thanks.
Alright. I don't think I've got any more words to do this outro, KK, so if you want to do the honest.
I can see it. Well, thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream. It is always a great pleasure to stream for you. Thank you very much, Fizzy, for tolerating me in the box for half of this season.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Fabulous fun. Absolutely loved. Yeah, it hasn't been easy. Anyone that works with me always has the same thing to say. Thank you very much to our drivers that have put on an incredible show, no matter where they are in the field. Of course, well done to those at the sharper end of it. Whoever comes away is a worthy winner. All of them are champions. And that will tie it up for this particular season. We will be back here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night, everyone. See you next week for the GT3.